Welcome to Baby Lore, the podcast where we dust off the forgotten pages of history, peer into the shadowy corners of folklore, and explore stories that make you wonder. What if? I'm your host, Johnny, and today we're journeying back to medieval England to unravel a story that has baffled historians, folklorists, and skeptics for centuries. Two children, green skin, a mysterious language, and claims of an underground world. This is the legend of the Green Children of Woolpit. Our story begins in the 12th century, in the sleepy village of Woolpit, or Woolpit as it was known back then, nestled in the county of Suffolk, England. Woolpit was a typical medieval village. Farmers worked the land, the church stood tall in the centre, and life moved slowly. But sometime during the reign of King Stephen, or possibly King Henry II, depending on the source, something utterly extraordinary happened. According to two main historical accounts, one by Ralph of Coggeshall and another by William of Newburgh, reapers working in the fields near Woolpit discovered something unusual by the edge of a wolf pit. Yes, a wolf pit. That's actually where the village name comes from. These pits were dug to trap wolves, which were still a problem in England at the time. But what the reapers found wasn't a wolf. It was two children, a boy and a girl. They were alone, confused, and green. Yeah, you heard right. Their skin was described as having a green hue, not pale, not sickly, but distinctly green. They wore strange clothing, made from unfamiliar material, and they spoke a language no one could understand. No one knew where they'd come from. No parents, no escort, no clue. They were taken in by a local landowner, believed to be Sir Richard de Colne. The villagers were puzzled, and perhaps more than a little frightened. But curiosity prevailed over fear. Now, the children were clearly starving, but they refused to eat anything offered to them. Bread, meat, fruit, they wouldn't touch it. Days passed, and their health began to decline. Eventually, they discovered raw, broad beans in the garden, and for the first time, they ate. Only the beans, though. That's all they would eat for a while. Over time, they were slowly introduced to other foods, and as their diet changed, something else changed too. Their green hue began to fade. Eventually, their skin returned to a more human tone. Sadly, the boy, the younger of the two, became sick and died shortly after his baptism. But the girl survived. She learned English, adapted to village life, and later took the name Agnes. And this is when things got even stranger. According to the accounts, once Agnes could speak the local language, she told her caretakers an astonishing story. She said she and her brother came from a land called St. Martin's Land. It was a place of perpetual twilight. Not night, not day, just a kind of dimness. Everyone there was green, like them. And she claimed that there was a luminous country visible across a river, but they could never reach it. One day, while tending their father's livestock, the children had wandered into a cavern. They followed the sound of bells through dark passageways and suddenly found themselves in bright sunlight near Woolpit. And then, the wolf pit. Was it a real place, an allegory, a dream, or something else? This is where the theories begin. Historians have offered practical explanations. One theory suggests the children were Flemish immigrants, refugees from persecution or war. Flemish communities were living in that part of England at the time. Perhaps the children's strange language was simply an unfamiliar dialect, and their odd clothing, foreign garments, the green skin. That could have been chlorosis, also known as green sickness, a form of iron deficiency anemia. Poor diet and malnutrition can give the skin a greenish tint, especially in children. As for their disorientation and story of a twilight world? Well, maybe they were just scared, confused, and traumatized. But there are other theories too. Some folklorists suggest the children were fairy changelings, beings from the other world. In English folklore, green is often associated with the Fae, their mysterious language, the subterranean passage, the glowing land across the river. It all echoes themes from Celtic mythology. And then there's the more unconventional theory that the children were not of this world at all, that St. Martin's Land wasn't on Earth, but beneath it, or even beyond it. Yes, some have speculated they were extraterrestrial, from a parallel dimension, or even a planet where the sun never fully sets. It sounds outlandish, but the mystery remains. Who were they? Where did they come from? And why has this story persisted for over 800 years? Agnes, the surviving girl, reportedly grew up and lived a normal life. She worked in the household of Sir Richard, and some sources say she even married a man from King's Lynn. Her descendants may still be out there, but the legend of the Green Children of Woolpit remains unsolved. It sits at the crossroads of history and myth, folklore and fact. A story that might hold grains of truth, or perhaps none at all. We'll likely never know for sure. But that's the beauty of legends, isn't it? They whisper to us from the past. They leave questions echoing in our minds. And sometimes, the mystery is what keeps them alive. Thank you for joining me on Baby Lore. If you enjoyed today's tale, please subscribe, leave a review, and share it with a friend who loves a good mystery. Until next time, stay safe and keep an eye out for the mysterious. You never know what is lurking just around the corner.